Welcome back to Sports Pulse HQ, and welcome to the debate. Look, in knockout football, there is a razor-thin line between a defensive masterclass and an offensive collapse. We just watched Switzerland lock down a World Cup quarterfinal spot for the first time since 1954 after that grueling 120-minute scoreless draw and penalty shootout against Colombia. So our tactical eye test forces a massive question today. Was this Murat Yakin pulling off an absolute tactical masterclass? Or are we just looking at a catastrophic psychological breakdown from Colombia? I am firmly arguing that Switzerland deliberately built an impenetrable fortress that completely neutralized Colombia.
Yeah, I gotta stop you right there. While they defended all right, this was not some Swiss tactical genius, man. I mean, we're talking about an unmitigated breakdown in killer instinct from Colombia. Just massive, unforced errors from top-tier attacking talent when it mattered most.
But wait, you have to look at how they set up against Néstor Lorenzo's fluid 4-1-2-3 formation. Colombia wants to overwhelm the midfield, right? They want those overlapping passing triangles. But our tactical eye test showed us Switzerland didn't just drop deep and pray. They pulled their wingbacks down, created this incredibly tight, condensed block, and completely erased the half spaces where Colombia usually thrives.
Right, they erased the half spaces, but
they forced Colombia to just cycle the ball in this useless U-shape around the perimeter all night, basically forcing low probability options.
I hear you on the formation, I really do, but look at the actual output on the pitch. We are talking about world-class forwards here. Even when you get forced to the perimeter, you expect elite talent to convert. They produced 0 goals in 2 hours of play because they panicked. They were practically begging to put the game away, and instead they paralyzed themselves out there. It wasn't just containment, it was a total loss of composure.
Hold on. The containment is exactly what caused that loss of composure. Look at the first half. Sure, Colombia dominated possession, but they were taking desperate, low-probability strikes. That is the literal definition of successful tactical containment. Remember that Gustavo Porta long-range rocket?
Yeah, but that was an incredible strike.
It was an absolute missile. Well, by clogging the penalty area, Switzerland forced Porta to shoot from distance. And even when he hits it perfectly, destined for the top corner, Gregor Kobel is there to make a world-class acrobatic parry. That is the system working exactly as designed. You force a low percentage shot and rely on your elite keeper to clean up the variance.
See, I come at it from a completely different way. Tactical containment does not excuse unforced wastefulness once you actually breach those defensive lines. By the second half, that frustration you mentioned was boiling over into total self-sabotage. I mean, Luis Suarez taking that sloppy yellow card is one thing, but what about when he had a crystal clear sight of goal?
Well, he was under immense pressure.
No. He had the time, he had the space, and he simply sliced it wastefully wide. That is a failure of offensive execution. That is a player losing his head, not some triumph of Yakin's defensive block.
I see why you think that, but let me give you a different perspective. That frustration didn't just magically appear out of nowhere. It was the mathematical result of their 4-1-2-3 failing to penetrate the center for literally over an hour. As the pressure mounts into extra time, yeah, they barely survived John Lucami powering that header off the crossbar, but they survived because their structural integrity held up under compounding pressure.
Structural integrity? Are you kidding me? We have to look at extra time because this is where your flawless Swiss defense theory totally shows its cracks. Look at Granit Xhaka, their veteran anchor, committing a mindless turnover right outside his own 18-yard box. He tries this cheeky flick over Juan Fernando Quintero, fails completely, and the ball falls perfectly to Jaminton Campaz.
Okay, yes, that was one mistake.
One mistake? Campaz is one-on-one with Kobel. He has all the time in the world, the whole stadium holds its breath, and he skies it over the crossbar. Missing an open net in the round of 16 is not a symptom of a tight Swiss block. It is pure, unadulterated panic.
Think about it like a structural dam designed to hold back a raging flood, all right? If that engineering holds back the water for 119 minutes, we do not declare the design a total failure just because one crack appears at the very end that ultimately doesn't burst. Xhaka's mistake was an anomaly in a system that successfully absorbed Colombia's kinetic energy all night. That psychological supremacy and gritty defensive architecture are exactly why Switzerland earned a date with Lionel Messi's Argentina.
And from my vantage point, the floodwaters just willingly diverted themselves. I mean, stepping up to those final penalties,